about what do we expect for 2023? What will it bring for individuals, for each one of us? So let me tell you a little bit about who we are. We are the Midwest School of Astrology. We have the only brick and mortar astrology school in North America. We have a 3-year certified program. Again, the only complete 500-hour program in the US at the current time. So we start off year one, and of course, most people know that we have 12 signs, and we have planets that rule each sign, and there are 4 elements based in astrology: fire, earth, air, and water. So we've all talked about those. What makes up a chart? We have planets, and of course we have 7 classical planets that were recognized for thousands of years: Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. And then, so that was the famous 7, the mystical 7, the spiritual 7. And then in the 1700s, Uranus was discovered, and so we had Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. That out of the way. There are 12 sections, signs, and they're divided into 4 elements: fire, earth, air, and water. And the fire signs are action. The earth signs are grounding. The air signs are about communication and thinking. And the water signs are spiritual and softening. So the 12 divisions, 4 quadrants. That's the basis of astrology. Now, when we talked last time we did our little what's coming for the planet, the last time Uranus was conjunct with the North Node in Taurus was in 1855. And it was a very historical time of political crisis. And so we had Uranus just completing its conjunction with Uranus again in Taurus in October and November. Now that has passed, and things are beginning to die down. Mars, which has a 2-year orbit, has been in Gemini, and it's usually for 12 signs, and over 2 years, it's usually in a sign for about 2 months. However, starting in August and going all the way into March of 2023, Mars will remain in Gemini 6 months instead of 6 weeks. So here Mars is our initiator, the warrior, the action planet, and it's in Gemini, the sign of communication and speaking and talking. And people have had a lot to say. Mars is energizing that. There's lots of words being passed. I don't know that there's as much action as there are words. Now we have eclipses twice a year, and the fall eclipses, which have been at the end of October, November. This year, just passed the fixed signs, and so fixed signs demand caution and a slow change. So the last 18 months, these eclipses have been in the Taurus-Scorpio corridor, which is fixed. The fall solar eclipse did include Venus, planet of harmony, and then the lunar eclipse involved Uranus in November, which was a lot of change and upheaval and chaos. So we've come out of a Saturn-Uranus square, and we've all been talking about that. And now they're moving out. Thank goodness, this is December. So we are starting to break away from a lot of this restless change. And so Uranus, the planet of change and chaos sometimes, goes direct in January 2023. And so it's going to start, we're really going to start to make some changes in energy when Uranus starts to move in its natural direction. Now, we had the solar eclipse. Eclipses are major triggers, and they've been tracked for 3,000 years on the planet that we know of, or more. And the solar eclipse in October 25th, was at 2 degrees of Scorpio, which was Taurus, Scorpio, fixed signs, and so maintaining stability and insisting on consistency. So that was it was October 25th, 6:48 a.m. Washington, D.C. In classical and traditional astrology, when you do world astrology, such as an eclipse or a major transit, you would do it for the capital of the country. And of course, in the United States, that would be Washington, D.C. So in Washington, D.C., it was very much of a first house about us and the country, and settling down because Venus was involved, and Venus is calm and quiet. So things are beginning to settle. Now here I thought would be fun. Let's look at Christmas this year. Christmas always happens on December 25th. And so I did it for 12 a.m. Washington, D.C. And for our country, interesting, there are 10 planets, and we have 5 of them all sitting in what you'd call the 4th house of the chart, home and family. And so there's a lot of focus on our own country, our own culture, our own home. And so families and sticking together are going to be pretty important this year. I do not expect as much international travel as many times that we get. You'll notice that there's a big grand square in this chart. And a grand square is a challenge. And so trying to change new patterns and challenges to everybody. And it's right here at home. It has not to do as much with other countries as it has to do with changes inside of our own boundaries. The eclipses have been in the Taurus Scorpio arena for the last 18 months, and they're moving into the cardinal signs. Cardinal signs are the signs where you initiate and take action. So many of these, we're going to be called to take initiatory action. They're going to remain in the cardinal signs for 18 months or a year and a half. So we need to get ready to start moving. We need to, and it's going to calm down because you've got Uranus moving forward, and we have some planets changing. Now, our forceful, we have planets and they all have personalities, but Mars and Saturn have been what we call, in the old traditions, the malefics, or the difficult planets. Mars, the warrior; Saturn, the stationary, tradition, don't move, minimize, limit. And so Mars and Saturn have been in changeable, moving in different signs, and they're going both in March. Mars will go into Cancer, and Saturn will go into Pisces in March of 2023. And this is going to soften the drive for action. This is going to mellow the aggressive initiating energy. So we're in December, but by March, you're going to see a slowing down and a mellowing of a lot of this energy. Saturn will dissolve old religious boundaries because Saturn was been in Capricorn, which is hold to the traditions, and then it was into Aquarius. But in March, it will go into Pisces, which is where religion and philosophy and spiritual beliefs are. And so Saturn there, it will start to impact those old boundaries. The arts, I believe, will be re-engaged when everything goes into Pisces. Pisces rules the music of the spheres. It rules the magic of creativity. And then Pluto, which has been in Capricorn for 18 years, will go in Earth. It's going to leave Earth and go into the air sign of Aquarius. And this is going to change our method of communication. We're going to see it in 2023. So Pluto was there 246, 48 years ago. It had been in Capricorn and moved into Aquarius. And if you go back, that was right in the 1770s. Technology is going to make a big difference. We're going to see a big jump in technology. Pluto is transformation and stepping up, and so it's going to make a big difference, big time. So I believe that our technology is going to take off and begin in air signs, be transformed and shift and become a powerhouse. Now, this is an interesting chart here, just to kind of wrap up and close up. But in March of 2023, which is not very far off if you recognize it, we have Mars just going into Cancer. It's been back here in Gemini and talking and communicating, but jumping around. And Mars in Cancer, Mars gets emotional in Cancer, but it's our home, it's our homeland too. Cancer, we are a Cancer country. Fire running through a water sign is is a lot more muted. And so we will not have as much Mars aggression. It's going to tone it down. Saturn has just gone into Pisces at this point in March. And it's been in Aquarius. Saturn was very strong in Aquarius, and in Pisces, it's going to be softer. Pisces is the religion, our beliefs, our spirituality. And so Saturn says, I'm going to change the boundaries. We're going to focus more on our philosophical beliefs and a little less on control. Pluto, 248 year cycle, is just leaving Capricorn, going into Aquarius, and there it is. So when we get to the spring, and of course, March 20th is the spring equinox, and that's the beginning of the new year. Here's the solar eclipse of April 20th, 2023. And that's the next. We go in eclipse patterns when you watch your power. And so solar eclipses are considered to be worldly change. They've always predicted them to see change of the guard, change of power, major planetary initiatives or shifts. And so the next solar eclipse, the last one was October 25th, and this next one is April 20th, 2023. It will be, it's going to be at 29 degrees of Aries in 50 minutes. Now let's just do some real simple math. Remember, there are 360 degrees in a circle. There are 12 signs. So 12 into 360, every sign has 30 degrees. And so every degree has 60 minutes. And this solar eclipse in April will be at 29 degrees and 50 minutes. The eclipses will move backward by sign. So it's just entering the Aries-Libra corridor in April. What does that do? Aries-Libra is about people and relationships. It's about me and we. And so we need to look at our relationships, whether they be in our personal lives, whether they be inside of our own government and our own communities, and also with us in the world. So this 29 Aries is a pretty aggressive one. It's 29 degrees. It's called a critical degree. And so this particular eclipse is calling everyone to become more Aries personally responsible and conscious and aware of what they're supposed to do. So here's our little closing. 22, 23. We are in very spiritual times. There are many gurus around the world and many spiritual leaders who are talking about we are at the changing of the ages. We are moving into this new level of consciousness. And if you'll look and just read NASA's website any day, they are citing new solar systems, new planets. And so all kinds of activity out in the world. I just received an email today that there was a great release of light, an intense blast of light from the black hole, what appears to be in the center of our galaxy, headed toward us. Many spiritual astrologers feel that this is a portal opening of consciousness, of spirituality. So, since these planets are going into water and we're having new insights into what's going on outside of even our own solar system into the galaxy, I believe that we are in spiritual times, and I do believe we're being called to actively seek harmony. So this year, one of our calls needs to be kind to water, be spiritual, be soft, try to harmonize when you can, take the high road. Let's be a part of the enlightenment. Let's be a part of this. I believe that most of us who are on the planet now came to be part of this enlightenment and change. So I ask you to ponder that. Enjoy this Christmas. It's calling us to challenge ourselves to be bigger and better people. And come spring, in the waters, it should be a wet spring, by the way, too. It's calling us to soften. So that's my message for the moment, and let's stay together and focus on that. So see you next time. Bye.